The Gulf War, the most televised conflict in history, ended here in the Basra Road. It was a war where 35,000 people died without a drop of blood apparently being shed. Where were the bodies in the sand? The scenes of the dying that would have forced us to look into the terrible, brutal face of war. With hundreds of TV cameras in the Gulf, where were the pictures of those new and powerful weapons? What was really happening away from the eye of the camera on the battlefields of Desert Storm? Today, the legacy of the Gulf War lingers on not just in the sick soldiers, but in the contaminated battlefields of Iraq and Kuwait. We were the first Western crew to be allowed into the Gulf battle zone since the war. These destroyed military vehicles are covered in a fine radioactive dust that comes from shells tipped with depleted uranium, the heaviest substance known to man. Shells tipped with depleted uranium are a new and experimental weapon, used for the first time in the Gulf War. The problem with them is that the radioactive particles released when they explode remain to contaminate an area for thousands of years.
The tower is contaminated. The reading is 125 tons per second.
These shells can slice through armour like a knife through butter. We went to look for evidence of how 300 tons of depleted uranium have contaminated the Iraqi desert. In a 3-day journey that covered almost 1,000 miles, we find radioactive debris scattered right across the region. It's easy to be complacent about war, propaganda and lies. We've got used to being lied to now. That's war, as the generals like to say.